hunting,
fishing,
cooking,
camping,
conservation,
travel,
gardening,
photography, family.
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 This is the Outdoor Rules Podcast. Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the podcast. Mike and Caitlin again.
Yep. Here we are.
It's Sunday, May 10th, 2026, Caitlin.
Mm-hmm.
Happy Mother's Day.
Thanks.
Yeah. We had a nice Mother's Day weekend, huh?
It was awesome.
Yeah, we went to Glenwood, New Mexico. I had to do a little work, and the boys got to stock Gila trout. It's pretty fun.
Yeah. Glenwood is right next to America's first wilderness.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Sure is. Right on the edge of the Gila wilderness.
Mm-hmm.
Made famous by Aldo Leopold.
Yep.
Caught a few fish.
Mm-hmm.
Robert caught his first sucker. He was very proud of that.
All by himself, right?
Absolutely 100% by himself.
That's cool.
Yeah. Unique species, too. A Sonora sucker.
Wow.
Yeah,
How'd it get in there?
They're native in that part of the world.
Okay.
So, I don't know how they got in that pond specifically, but they're a native sucker. It's all connected to Whitewater Creek. So,
Yeah. Okay.
yep. You had a real mom moment while we were on our little trip.
Yeah. Yeah. Our boys had a real boy moment.
Uh-huh. What happened?
Well, there was a pool at the place we stayed, and they just filled it up the day before. It was outdoor. It was cold. We didn't know it was going to be filled up, so we didn't bring any kind of flotation for anybody. But of course, they still wanted to go in the pool.
Yep.
So we went out, and GT actually came with me to bring them down to the pool, and I hadn't checked it out yet, but it was 4 feet in like 95% of the pool. And there were a couple little benches on the two corners where Emmit could get in and walk around. It was, maybe only a foot or two deep there. There was a pool noodle, so he did a little swimming with that, but anyways, he really scared himself at one point. I just heard a little noise. Well, I should back up. We sat down, and I emptied my pockets out. The first thing I did.
What call this mother's intuition?
And like 5 minutes later, my dad said, "Hey, which one of us is jumping in the pool? Something happens to one of these boys." And I said, "Well, I already emptied my pockets out, so I'll do it."
Foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Using a lot of literary devices here.
So anyways, Emmit really did scare himself at one point, and they were close to us, but he looked like he should be able to reach for the edge. He was so close to the edge, but he had just stepped off that little edge. And so anyways, I got over there. I'm like, "Emmit, grab the edge," and he's trying, and so Robert grabbed his arm, lifted him up. I mean, I was right there. I was an arm's reach too. But he really freaked out and had to get out of the pool for a while and sit in a chair. And I wasn't sure he was going to get back in.
Yeah, and that was before. And then I came down and joined you sometime after that happened.
Correct. Not too long after that happened.
Right.
You met up with us. And then the boys played for another 30 minutes or something. Basically, Emmit on the outside of the pool throwing stuff for Robert to go swim after and get.
Mm-hmm.
And they did that for a while, and Emmit would sometimes get in the ledge, but he mainly stayed out of the pool. He really looked freaked out.
He didn't really get in the pool at all while I was there.
Yeah, he seemed like he had a good scare. Except for one moment. Maybe it was a moment of brotherly competition, it sounds like, after the fact. I don't know. You saw it happen. I didn't see it happen.
Well, I don't know that I saw what led up to it. I mean, they were, Emmit was throwing this floating ring around, And then, like, he'd throw it basically across the pool, and Robert would try to swim across the pool and get it before Emmett, like,
ran around
and got it.
Yeah.
And I guess he threw it somewhere that there was, like, no chance that he was going to get it from the edge.
And so Emmett got a noodle or something. I don't know. I thought I heard...
No.
No?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
He just jumped in. Emmett just jumped in. Into the middle.
Yeah.
Of the pool.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just sitting there. I didn't see it happen. I just heard you say something like, oh, he's in. Which...
And he was.
Yeah. Which I knew right away what that meant.
Yeah.
Because of the tone in your voice, and I heard the splash. But...
And I think he was close to Robert, and I think Robert's instinct was to try to help him.
Mm-hmm.
And Robert did swim to him, but then the classic thing happened where Emmett was panicking. So he basically got on top of Robert and was holding Robert under.
Right.
Emmett was above the water. And,
Yeah.
And then Robert was being held under by Emmett.
When I got to the pool's edge, Emmett was head clear out of the water, but Robert was underneath.
Yeah.
And you could tell that Emmett all his weight was on top of Robert.
Now we're talking about this as like 5 seconds or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. And I ran around to the side of the pool that was closest and was debating jumping in, but I had only somehow managed to bring one pair of pants on the trip.
So you thought.
Yeah. Well, it turned out I was wrong about that later, but I thought at the time I only had one pair of pants with me.
Oh, but I was ready for it. So, I mean, as soon as you said he's in, we all popped up and ran to the pool.
And then you were in.
And then I was in.
Yeah. Mother's instinct.
And yeah, scooped him up.
Saved her boys. And then we were kind of we were kind of telling Robert we were proud of him because, you know, I do really think that Robert had the intent of saving him.
Yeah.
But then I asked him sort of after you guys left and everything calmed down. I said, you were trying to save Emmett, weren't you? He said, no, I was trying to save myself.
I think it started out as trying to save Emmett and then very quickly
too.
changed.
Yeah. Yeah, it's scary. You got to watch kids around pools.
Happens so fast.
Because Robert really swims well, but with Emmett, I mean, Emmett was just like...
Yeah.
I think Emmett had his hands around Robert's neck and was basically holding himself up.
His weight was on his shoulders.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But, yeah, and we even thought Emmett had a scare. He's not going in the water because he just had no interest. But then he did. But we were all there.
Yeah, man. Well, good job saving your kids.
Thanks.
So as promised, we're going to do another Mother's Day episode, but I thought about that. You saving your kids kind of made me think a little bit about animal mom stories. And I couldn't come up with a lot, but I could come up with one about you. You had an encounter with an animal mom, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, relay that story.
Yeah, so this was back when we were in Yellowstone working there. And I don't remember exactly what year.
This is like 15 years ago now.
Something like that.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. But I was working in the wildlife section in the wolf program, and we basically just hiked throughout the park all summer. And the scientific purpose was tracking wolf predation, what they're eating, how often.
So you were going to places where you thought wolves may have killed something and eaten it.
Right. Based on GPS collar data and an analysis of that and kind of intimating where kills were likely to be.
Right.
So we had a trip. It was going to be a few-day trip, and it was 20 miles into the backcountry, maybe 18, 20 miles.
Way in there.
Mostly
off trail.
100%. Well, yeah, mostly off trail.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyway, so we're 15 plus miles in, I think, on our first day. And take a break to just kind of drink some water, cool off, grab a snack. And at the time, we were in some forest. And we stopped kind of on a little bit of a ridge in the forest, and because there was some sunlight breaking through where we were, and there were some little regen pines around us, so like 6-foot tall pine trees in amongst these really old pine trees. And we were sitting on a deadfall tree, and within a minute, like, started hearing a noise around us. And usually my mind just went right to elk because you bump into so many elk in the park. But a couple of seconds later, it was very clear we weren't hearing elk. And the sound of the critter running was actually starting to wrap around us and not just flee away and bound through the woods.
Not an animal leaving.
No. So just based on the sound, we kind of it grabbed our attention, and we were looking. I think somebody probably said, "What is that?" And we were looking, and this other woman, Molly, finally saw what it was, and she goes, "Oh, it's a grizz." So we all get our bear sprays out, and then I finally see it, and you can still kind of hear it circling. I don't know if it was downwind of us maybe or something like that. But then all of a sudden it's running right at us. And it turns out it's a grizzly sow with 2 yearling cubs flanking her. So it was so they're a little smaller than her. But they're about 70% of her size.
Right. These aren't cute little bear cubs.
No.
These are
they'll knock you down and take your lunch and something else.
They probably maybe worse.
make you lunch?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Anyways, they're running at us, and so at that point, with them running right at us, I knew I had to get my safety off my bear spray. We all had our bear sprays out. I go to pop the safety off while I'm watching her, but I don't get it off. I'm like, shoot. I look down, and so now I'm looking at my bear spray, knowing this bear's sprinting at me with her other 2 bears with her. And I pop the safety off, and I look back up, and I remember thinking, if she steps through this little gap in these 2 short trees, I'm going to spray her. And she got right to those trees and then turned around and ran away.
Yeah. Bluff charge.
Yeah. Yeah. That was adrenaline rush for sure. But yeah, she ended up being about 10 yards when she turned around.
That sounds scary.
It was pretty scary.
There's a reason why they call them mama bears.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there you go. That's your animal mom story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know if we just surprised her and she had them and we maybe rested right on top of where she was, a little bit above on the hill, and her instincts kicked in and they were to charge us and then decide what to do.
Yeah. Man. And then you had a little bear spray incident after that, right? Somebody accidentally discharged their bear spray.
I mean, yeah, they did. But you wouldn't, it was literally like the tiniest, it wasn't like they laid on it, just barely touched it. Actually, the person was kind of relieved, once we knew the bear was going away and decided not to come back. So it was kind of like that. She did one of those, and like her shoulders relaxed, but her finger was still on the bear spray. Mm-hmm. And then you heard, I heard it, ran away from her as fast as I could, but the other person with us got a little bit in his face.
I'm sure that didn't feel good.
It was quite debilitating. Yeah.
I really think that there's a gun safety lesson in that, which is just like, because that is not the only bear spray incident that I've heard about going exactly that way, where it ended up being a bluff charge. Bear doesn't, make contact. The people don't actually have to spray the bear. Mm-hmm. And then bear spray gets accidentally discharged afterwards because you get that big letdown from the adrenaline. Mm-hmm. And I just think you find that in hunting situations too, where people are so amped up and whatever happens, and you just sort of lose your focus on the safety side of whether it's the bear spray or the gun.
Yeah, and I'm sure that the more training you have, the better off you are.
Yeah.
But you never quite know.
But it's hard. It's impossible to train for a bear charge.
Right.
I mean, you can do it enough and get charged enough times that
Right.
you get used to it. But like, as far as like, you can't really just go out and practice it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she was being a good mama, I guess.
I guess.
She did get sprayed later, right? Didn't they have another incident with
with
probably the same bear?
Yes. Yep. It took us a while to recover for our colleague to get his wits about him. And we tried.
You mean get the bear spray out of his eyes?
Well, that didn't happen. He didn't get it all. Like, he was still, he came from like 0% functioning to maybe like 30% functioning.
Oh, you mean it didn't, not that he didn't get it in his eyes. He didn't recover from having it in his eyes.
Like all day. It was a problem for him all day.
Did you just turn around and immediately come back out?
No, because
you kept trying to work.
Well, we knew there was a creek ahead of us and it was still on the way to where we were supposed to go. So we thought after 10, 15 minutes, you know, when he could see just enough to like hike, I guess, we decided let's get to that water because we dumped all of our water on his face
I got you.
to try to help him. So we thought we got to go get more water.
Right.
So then we went down there and then we reassessed. And yeah, he was still at maybe 50% by then, 50, 60%. And we decided let's go back, camp where we were going to camp, and then make a decision in the morning about what we're going to do. And then the next day, nobody was feeling up for it. So we hiked 18 miles out.
Nothing like a bear charge to make you reassess what you're doing for the day.
Yeah. But then, a few weeks later, a group of 4 went back in. I don't think I said I refused to go back in, but I was definitely like, I don't know. Like I've seen a lot of bears and I'd been working in Yellowstone for a while at that time. And there was just something about her behavior that seemed off to me.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't like I stepped on top. Right. It seemed like she was maybe we scared her and surprised her. But then she also circled us and figured out what we were. And I don't know. She just seemed like she was also an aggressive bear.
Yeah.
So I didn't end up going back in. But 4 other people did, and they ran into her again. And she put on a show from about 50 yards away. And then she charged him again, and they had to spray her. She didn't touch anybody, but she basically ran right past one of the flanking people.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of bears in Yellowstone, but I never got charged.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I missed anything.
No.
Yeah.
No, it certainly gives you a deeper respect for the animal.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Mama bears.
Yeah.
So for most of the episode today, what we're going to do is, believe it or not, I think this will be episode 83. It'll be the first episode that we have Aunt Beth on.
That does seem pretty crazy.
I know. We somehow
Why
started
didn't you invite her sooner?
We've done almost 100 episodes, and we haven't had the most talkative person in our family on the podcast yet. But we sat down with her and recorded a little bit about her mom, about my Grandma June Gettle. And it was really nice. I learned a lot about Grandma June. You'll hear in the recording, she passed away when I was really young, and so it was just a great opportunity to sit down with Beth and Poppy and talk about a family member that was really important, I think, for us, even as kids, just sort of in her memory, but that I didn't really know.
Yeah.
So, all right, here we go. I can't believe it's been more than 70 episodes, and we finally got Aunt Beth on the podcast. I thought that this would have happened in the first 10. Why do you think I think that, Aunt Beth?
Because I talk a lot.
Yeah, because you talk a lot.
Except you put a microphone in front of me or a camera, and I become the frog on the Warner Brothers cartoon of "Hello, my baby, hello, my darling, hello, my ragtime doll."
No, not this time though.
So,
I'm 100% sure that you're going to talk.
oh, my cheeks getting red.
Everybody always does.
Okay,
But you, I don't know. Yeah, you're kind of a talker.
I know.
So am I, Beth.
I know. Well, that apple.
Hey,
We got some genetic stuff in there together.
you know what? I feel like people all my life have been telling me to be more quiet.
Good for you.
Turns out I just needed a podcast.
Good for you, Michael.
Yeah.
You do it.
People
You do
tell Emmett to be quiet, and I can be guilty of it too sometimes because he's loud. But
And I'd say I'm the more talkative one versus my brother.
Yeah, I'm the quiet one here.
You
Yeah.
are the quiet one. You're the one that, you're a man of few words and you think about what you're going to say. I tend to just blurt out whatever's on my mind.
well, I think out loud.
Exactly. That's a good thing.
It's a way to process the world.
I had a student teacher once that said to me, "Do you know you're talking out loud all the time?" And what she didn't know was I was, but I was hoping that she would get my thought process to understand why I was doing what I was doing.
Yeah,
Okay, that's a whole nother podcast. So-
right.
Okay,
Well,
back to Mom.
We got Aunt Beth on. Poppy's here.
Hello?
So this is part of the Mother's Day episode, Beth. And I've wanted to talk to you on the podcast for any number of reasons, but we've talked quite a lot about Pop Grant.
Yes.
And we've trying to talk a little bit more in some recent episodes. We recently had one with Dale and Denise where we talked about Verna, which was one of Pop Grant's sisters, but
Yes.
we haven't really talked about my Grandma June, about your mom. The only thing I think I probably said in the podcast, or the little bit we've talked about her, is she passed away when I was 2. I think probably, did she pass away in 1982 or 1983?
1982.
Yeah.
82. August, I think, of 82.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would have been just over 2
Yes.
years old when she passed. Of breast cancer,
No, actually lung cancer.
of lung cancer.
Was not a smoker, but had found out she had lung cancer before Dad and she were going to go on a trip to Alaska.
Yes.
That was a basic thing that they did at that time, that you went and you would get a chest x-ray. And I'm not sure that she necessarily had any symptoms.
I don't think she did. And it was July of
Yes.
80 when this happened.
Yes. And then she battled that with chemotherapy and things. And then eventually it spread to her tailbone and finally to her brain.
Once it got in her spine, she was having a lot of pain in her
Yeah.
back. And I think they did some
Radiation.
but they didn't think that helped.
No.
And then I remember from the time it started, and Mom said, Karen said, that she asked the doctor how long she had. He said probably about 2 years. And she said, I'll see my daughter graduate from college.
Yeah.
So, and it didn't go too long after
No.
that.
I graduated from college in May
Right.
on a Saturday. And on Monday, she started speaking gibberish that Dad and I looked at each other, not my brother, but Poppy,
Yeah.
looked at each other. And I said, I don't understand her. And he said, I don't either. And then that's when we found out it spread to her brain. So she made it to my college graduation, which you were there too. You found some interesting things on the ground at my college graduation. That's a whole nother story.
Under the stadium.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what people were doing at
And
the
you're-
stadium, but you found it.
Good.
And no, I think it was your brother that fell in the
Oh,
goose pond.
Yeah, you were all about going in the fountain and taking your shoes off. Matt didn't, but he eventually got in, but he fell.
Yeah. Well,
So you were there as well. And Mom at that day was on a wheelchair, and you could tell she was, things were not looking good. But her goal was to make it to the college graduation, and she did. But 2 days later, then she became sicker and was in and out of the hospital all summer until she finally passed away.
yeah.
So
So we'll talk about your mom. Well, I mean,
she was a very talented lady, no matter what artistically, I should say. No matter what she decided to do, she was successful at it. She did not graduate from high school.
Oh, really?
Yes, which was always, she was, I don't want to say ashamed of that, but disappointed that she didn't get her GED. But it didn't stop her from doing what she did well. I think she got a lot of, what's the word I want? She felt good about what she did at Cedar Haven.
Yes.
And she worked at Cedar Haven, which is a community retirement home. And she was in the therapeutic recreation department. And she was the one that brought ceramics to Cedar Haven. And she also, which was the thing that she was absolutely super proud of, she taught the residents to oil paint. Now, granted, they used acrylics then because it dried a lot faster than oil. But they would have art. They would have an art exhibition of all their artwork that they had done. And I think she felt incredibly proud of that. Mm-hmm. She also did 3-dimensional clay paintings. She oil painted, of course, too. I mean, really anything that she did artistically that she attempted, she was
good at it. Yeah.
She was really good at it.
Where did that come from? I mean, like if she didn't graduate high school, and obviously not that you have to graduate high school to be artistic, but
may I also say it was a different time.
Yeah.
That's not uncommon to find people their age saying they didn't finish school.
Right.
She did tell funny school stories.
Yeah.
Like one, she didn't like school when she was little. She wanted to be home with her mom, which was similar to me. I didn't want to really be at school. I loved school as I got older, but when I was little, I would have rather spent time with my mom. I was a mama's girl. And she talked about how she walked in Fairview and walked in the front door and ran right out the back door and left. And another time she said she skipped school as a young child and somebody asked her why she wasn't in school. And she said to them, "I'm not well." Now, that was as a child.
Right.
So, but she did say in 9th grade, she decided she was really going to buckle down and take a lot of courses, and she took way too much, and the load was too heavy, and she quit. And again, that time, which would have been when, Randy, do you know? When would have she been in high school?
She's born in 25.
Okay. So late 30s, 40s?
Yeah, probably would have been around 1940. I mean, 15 years old or something.
Yeah.
9th grade.
And it was interesting. And you're actually telling some things that I don't remember. But you were a mother's baby.
I was mama's baby.
I was more aligned with that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So
because, like, for example, when you talk about going fishing with my dad to the river, which Randy will tell you, I got sick every time I went over. Didn't throw up, but I would get sick. And I hated going to the river.
Wait.
Hated going to the river.
Why would you get sick going to the river?
Because I got car sick on the roads that were over there.
Oh.
What I would do, now I did enjoy my time on the rocks. I really had fun jumping around on the rocks. I could do that a lot better.
Hold on a second. We're on the way to the river. I don't feel good. This is my sister. Oh, Grant, this little girl doesn't feel good. We should stop. She hasn't thrown up yet. We're going to keep going.
Yeah.
So my time at the river was Mom would sit on a lawn chair and I would find ways to keep myself busy, playing with rocks, doing whatever. And one of my fondest memories with Mom is, "Beth, is the beauty shop open?" "No, I don't think it's open now, Mom. No, it might open soon." "Okay. Is it open now?" And what I would do is I would comb her hair and give her hairstyles, which now, as you know, unfortunately, Mother didn't live to my age. So I can't say she would have been a lot younger. I realize how wonderful that feels with somebody just combing your hair and doing things like that. So,
right.
But I enjoyed my time once I was there because I would also get in trouble with putting my hand in the mini buckets and doing things like that. But I just didn't like the drive there.
Yeah. Did Grandma June do art stuff like her entire life, or was it Was it something that she started?
I don't remember it from my early days, but I remember her getting into ceramics. And we would go to ceramic shops. Actually, I painted some ceramics with her. And then one year we got a kiln for her. So then she started doing more and doing it in the basement. And the painting, I'm not sure what started that or
She
when,
went to a class at a church.
But I know, like, we still have the painting of the place we used to go in Canada that she did on the wall in there. You know, so she just, and that I think was before she was working at Cedar Haven. You know, and started painting.
Sounds like maybe she got into it a little later.
And I think it was innate. Once she learned how to do the oil painting, she could do that. But as far as how she painted ceramics, I think that was just something she was capable of doing without somebody teaching her how to do that.
Yeah.
And I can actually tell her pieces without somebody telling me, because it was a certain style when she did faces and things like that. So,
And she always did kind of little things to work. Do you remember Snow Queen?
yes. Oh my goodness, you made me think of that. Yeah. I still have one.
Do you?
Yes.
There was a thing she made called Snow Queens, and she'd sell them at Christmas to make money to buy Christmas presents and things.
In fact,
And when I'm telling you, I'm talking like 50 to 100 of them.
in fact, she always told me I have a rocking chair at home that she sold Snow Queens to buy for me. And it has the date on the bottom, like for not my first, maybe my second Christmas or something like that. But yeah, she was very
Talented.
Yes, she was very artsy, craftsy, and just able to, whatever she tried, she seemed to do really well at it. And she loved her grandchildren.
Yeah.
She really enjoyed her time with, didn't have a whole lot of time because Kate was just little, I think, when she passed away. Correct?
No, I don't
Kate
think
wouldn't have been born.
Do you remember her, Michael?
I have one memory of her, and it was in the front room in your house.
Okay.
But she was sick.
Oh, okay.
And I think I probably remember it because of how emotional it probably was. It probably was in the last few weeks of her life or something, and it was probably a lot of emotional energy around it. And
more so with the adults.
Right.
You know, child not necessarily understanding something was wrong, but whatever.
Yeah. That's the only memory that I have of her. And while we talking about that house, you guys grew up on South 5th Street in Lebanon, right? And that's where she grew up.
She was born in the bedroom that I slept in, which was in the front of the house.
Yes.
And that's where her and Pop Grant lived their whole married lives. He moved in there. Were her parents still living there when he moved in there?
Yeah, we grew up there actually. Like we talked about some of the family houses. Grandma and Grandpa were there. We were there. We actually slept in the attic. And Uncle Charles and Aunt Betty and my cousin Buddy and Nancy were there the first year or two when I was first.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And you remember that?
I don't remember much of that, but I remember, them telling me in pictures and things like that.
It was a 3-bedroom, right?
Well, kind of. If you count the attic, 4.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't think I was ever in the attic.
And only one bathroom.
Yeah. Right. One upstairs bathroom.
But it was central to all the bedrooms.
Yes, it was.
Right.
It was.
Do you know when her and Pop Grant were married? Like, how old were they?
I think 48.
I have the invitation at home, but I can't.
I think it was 48.
Yeah.
And I was born in 51.
So they would have been in their early 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it always surprised me about Pop Grant that he moved to the city.
I don't know. Was he working at Bamberger's then? That it was closer?
I think he was working at Plaster's, a bus company.
Okay.
And then he went to Bamberger's from there. He talked about going and picking up buses that were broken down and bringing them back to Lebanon.
I know that it might not be something you want to talk about, but I know that she was engaged to someone else.
Oh.
Yes, I wasn't going to say names, but okay.
Yeah.
And that I understand which was an issue for Dad, from what I understand. He was in the military.
Mm-hmm.
However, when he came back from the war, a lot of drinking was involved. And her father, who she would say to me, was a meek, mild man until he got some alcohol in him. And then she said he became not a nice person. But she knew that was not something she wanted to deal with. And so she met Dad at the roller skating rink, which there's something we can talk about. She was supposed to be amazing on roller skates. That, like, when she would watch the ice dancers or whatever in the Olympics and we'd see on television, she would say she could do that on roller skates. And I heard other people say she could do that on roller skates as well. Poppy Grant was not that great on roller skates. And that he would want to roller skate with her, and she would sometimes get her friends to get her out of it.
Oh, yeah.
But eventually he won her over with all his charm, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, a Ruhl charm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they ended up becoming, a couple, and it just, Dad felt bad that he didn't go in the military, but he wasn't supposed to go in the military. He was chosen to stay back.
He had signed up, and his father made him stay back because of working the farm.
Right.
They needed help.
Oh.
Interesting.
And actually, I saw Dad roller skate a few times, and he could roller skate a lot better than I
he
ever
could. Go
could.
backwards and do all the other stuff.
So I can only imagine how good Mom was.
Right.
So
what was their relationship like, your mom and dad?
I don't know. There wasn't a lot of physical kissing or not a lot of I love yous or anything like that.
No.
They were just.
But not that I ever.
Yeah. Not any fighting. Not much fighting.
Not much fighting. Not much. I mean, it was fine. I did enjoy Mom's little sayings, like she would say, "Oh, forevermore." That was "Oh, forevermore." Yes.
Yeah.
"Oh, forevermore."
Like as an exclamation when he frustrated her, you mean?
Or she would say that if you just shared something with her that was exciting or new or different, or "Oh, forevermore." Were there any other ones?
No, I can't think of any.
Uncle Guy used to say Junie Gettle coffee kettle. Remember that? Junie Gettle coffee kettle. And then he'd say to me, "You have the Gettle brown eyes." Because I had brown eyes and Mom had brown eyes.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I guess we didn't mention that her maiden name was Gettle.
Yes.
Yeah.
But no, they had, I mean, I know when she was, when it was obvious that the end was coming, she never said this to me, but some other people said to me she would get frustrated because Dad wouldn't talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a Ruhl trait.
Right.
We just don't. It's not done out of disrespect. It's just, I'll think about that tomorrow.
I don't remember Pop Grant talking about her much, but I always sensed a melancholy around it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said once to me that it would be nice to have companionship, but I also like being able to go do what I want to do. But no. And Dad also, I can remember him going to a wedding of a friend who the father had passed away and the mother was still living. And he spent the whole wedding wiping his eyes. And he wouldn't cry openly, but he was moved there. And I remember him saying, "I have a headache."
Yeah.
And that's, the wiping of the eyes was, his eyes would tear. That's a Ruhl trait too, meaning our eyes do water, like mine water like Grandma's, and I've got the lovely dark circles. But his eyes watered more than just something that was happening, he was wiping away a tear of being touched, but he wouldn't show that to anybody. Do you agree?
Oh, yeah.
And not that he was stoic.
No.
I don't mean that. Just that he wouldn't show that side of it. So
Yeah. What is it about your mom that really stands out to you? What do you really remember? What do you really miss?
A lot.
Yeah.
And I thought the other day, it's actually been a long time. It's hard for me to believe I'm 65 going on 66. And she unfortunately didn't get to live that long.
Yeah.
But I feel that those years were packed with, she was a lot to me. A lot. And not that I didn't mourn my father, but she was an extremely good person. And again, people would say to me, Beth, you never heard her say a mean word about somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
She wasn't, like, in other words, she wasn't one of those that was talking about people and spreading things or whatever. So, and she was supportive and like Randy said, that's my little girl. That's, Gran, she's just a little girl.
The river, though, is a pretty good example of us and our family and our parents. We would go to the river. I would be with Dad fishing.
Yeah.
You would be in the rocks with Mom doing things with her. You know what I mean? And that
doing the beauty shop.
Not that it was,
no.
That I didn't love my mother and any things like that. But Dad took me to the baseball games, to Little League. He was a coach. You know what I mean? We went fishing all the time. And you spent more time with Mom.
And, and as I'm older and I became a mother, we also went to Canada every year. And I only realized as I got older, my mother just had a change of scenery.
Yeah.
She wasn't going out fishing. She was back. She was still making meals still. And again, there were fond memories there. We were really good friends with Randy's best friend. And then our families became friends and we went to Canada together. And it was kind of ironic because Mom's name was June and this other woman's name was May. And I had a lot of fun with that, May and June. And why didn't we name everybody July, August, September, October, that sort of thing. But the two of them were cute because I can still see them sitting on the front porch. And we'd always take a rocking chair because that's a love I got from Mom. Loved to rock. And I loved to rock. And Dad would take a folding aluminum rocking chair and she'd sit on the front porch there. And Mrs. Kling would come down and she'd say, "Oh, June, I think I'll go take a nap." And then Mom would say, "Yep, May, I think I'll go take a nap." And the two of them would go take naps. But our families had a really good, we have good memories of Canada. She was a kind, loving woman. And you kind of felt that, not that she didn't get angry with me, because she did, but she was a huge supporter.
Yeah.
So, and it was, I realize now I didn't get to really spend. She was busy working with me because I was still growing up and then went away 4 years to college and then came home and she was immediately sick. So there wasn't time to really make that, the relationship of mother-daughter into an actual friendship.
Yeah.
And I love doing it. We'd go shopping. We'd go, she looked forward to things like that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, not to be too morbid, but I feel like I am now getting to the age where, people I know are, have passed or have had serious health challenges. And, a lot in the last couple of weeks of news about famous people my age that are, that have passed away or whatever. And, you think about a life like Grandma June's, and obviously for me as a kid, it was my grandma, so she was an old lady. And now in my, later 40s, Like, well, she wasn't at all
Yeah.
because she was mid-50s.
Yes.
And,
As you get older, Michael, older gets older.
yeah, well, younger gets younger too. But, just a reminder to live. You know what I mean? Like, you just can't save it all up.
I do have one thing that I thought of just as you said that. When I was in college, we all drove on Uncle Bob's 21st birthday. We all drove to the beach to see the sunrise.
Uh-huh.
Grandma June was not happy.
No.
Because she would read, remember the Sunday papers came with those murder mysteries in them? Like it wasn't the Parade magazine, but it was something like that. And she would always read those, and someone was going to take you, and someone was, so yeah. I thought she'd be thrilled. She was not thrilled.
No.
Was she protective with you?
Not so much. I think as I got older I guess to tell it the way I think it happened. As I got older and started dating, I was dating a girl. This wasn't Karen, of course, at that time.
A woman other than my mother?
Can you believe it?
I was dating a girl, and
Scandal.
she lived next to Gary Kling's or May that we talked about.
Okay.
Her what was it? Gary's aunt, her grandmother. So anything that happened with that got back to Mom, and Mom didn't approve of her at all. So we, in high school, it kind of got tough. Other than that, there was really never any times that I had issues.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Oh, boy.
But I think, too, Michael, when Randy was talking about him doing things with his dad and me doing things with my mom, we're also talking a very different time.
Yeah.
Where boys did boy things and girls did girl things. And not that it was thrust on you that you have to do this, because they encouraged you to do whatever you wanted to do. It wasn't like, no, you can't do that. You're a girl. No, you can't do that. I don't know that they told you couldn't do something as a boy, but.
Well, and you've heard me say this before. I was an only child until my sister was born. She's 9 years older than me. So
Younger. I'm 9 years younger.
That's right.
Hello.
That's the old lady getting things mixed up. Yes. But anyhow, I was an only child. So actually, in my younger years, I spent a lot more time with my mother. And then once you came along, and I'm not saying it's anything wrong.
But you also had Grandma and Grandpa.
I had Grandma and Grandpa.
Yeah.
But, I spent much more time with Mom. And then her little girl came along. And I don't think I'm not saying that that's abnormal. You know what I mean? It had more of the same. You wanted to rock. You wanted to listen.
Yeah.
You wanted to listen to the Sound of Music record over and over and over again, and Mom would do that. I wanted to be outside playing and things like that.
And Grandma June was also, she was not an alcoholic, but she was a chocoholic.
But yes, she liked chocolate.
And she would eat chocolate until she'd get migraines.
Really?
And that wasn't enough to stop her. She'd be good for a while, but then she'd be back, which I understand totally.
Yeah. Oh, my.
So, forevermore.
Forevermore.
I love that Poppy gets so much attention, but I feel she was just as amazing as Poppy was. It's just we had longer with him, and he was the sage, but she had qualities that, I would love to say that I've grown up to be like both of them. I felt they both had really good qualities. I don't know that I have any specific words.
I don't know that Poppy Grant would get angry or anything that a lot, but Mother was more of a calming person than he was, I think.
She was a good friend. She was a wonderful mother. If I could pick my mother, I don't think I could have picked a better one. We spent a lot of good time together. Would have liked a lot more, but I feel the same way about Dad and my brother too. So,
Sure. I mean, you got to say that because he's sitting right there.
We could.
No.
Yeah, but
I'm.
how would I say it? Like when the water got spilled at the kitchen table, and I was always downhill, and you always spilled it. You know, Dad would jump up and get a little bit excited, but Mom was a calming thing.
Okay. I
That's kinda
don't
where I
really
was going with
remember that because my brother got extremely upset.
Yeah.
She always does this.
No,
and I did.
the word is wet, not upset. Wet.
It did happen a lot.
we did. I mean, we had fun growing up.
We did. One of my fun stories with them is the two of them were watching Matt. And he came and I had a player piano and the bench was pulled out and Matt stood up on the bench and he started going, dummy, 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 dummy. I remember Mom and I just giggling at him because I think he was told he wasn't allowed to say that word.
Yeah.
And, you know, you can get away with stuff at the grandparents' house. And
Right.
He stood there and said, dummy, 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 dummy.
Go to Grandma's house.
Yeah, go to Grandma's. She'll let. But it's a shame she didn't get to enjoy more time with her grandchildren because she would have loved that. And, you know, like she wasn't at my wedding. There's just big moments that I wanted her to be there and she wasn't, but that was no fault of her own. But just that when you lose someone, when I think of other people that you've lost at a very young age, you just realize those ripples go on forever. Because, I mean, at least she got to be at Randy and Karen's wedding. At least she got to experience 2 grandchildren. But just that she missed out on a lot of things. But I like to think that she's somewhere watching.
Yeah.
And she's with us because, this is going to be hard to say, but the one thing that Mom, in all her paintings, I would find faces in them. And I found faces on the wallpaper and I found faces, you know, and she'd say, stop telling me. All I see are these faces looking at me. And one time in church, somebody had painted a beautiful thing that was up front and it was Mother's Day. And a girl at church said, and my own mother's been a mother to me, and but I have the rest of my life to thank her for being my mother. And I immediately thought, don't assume that because you don't know when you lose your mom. So there was this painting up front, and as I sat there looking at them with my ADHD, I realized, oh my goodness, their face is up in that banner. There's a dolphin. There's this, there's that. And the girl afterwards went up to church to her and I said to her, oh my goodness, do you know that banner that you made has faces and I see a dolphin and she said to me, she just kind of laughed and she said, people see what they need to see, Beth. And I felt like that day, Mom knew I thanked her for all the wonderful things she did for me and gave me. And, you know, so it was like Randy said, it was a good childhood. Not that there weren't bumps in the road like all people have, but for the most part, it was, we had 2 very wonderful parents.
Well,
Exemplary.
Yeah. She was a special lady.
She was a very special lady.
Thanks for sharing.
Yep.
Happy Mother's Day.
Thanks. And soon to be a grandmother.
Oh, yeah. Congratulations. Yeah. I love you. Thanks for doing it.
This was
Love you too.
This was easier than I thought it would be. Thank you.
I told you.
Sorry. Love you too, bro.
Well, Caitlin, we're back. What I've thought about since recording this is, you know, I didn't know Grandma June. I mean, that's really the plain way to put it. You know, she passed away when I was 2. I don't have a memory of a conversation with her or anything like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I have this, like, I have such a strong affiliation as a Ruhl, right? It's my last name. I'm a Ruhl. I have this identity as a Ruhl. I knew Pop Grant and his brothers, and felt like they were, like got such a sort of hunting outdoor heritage from them that I feel so strongly about and that I really identify with. And, we talked last week on the podcast about my other grandma, and that was an interesting conversation. If you haven't listened to that one yet, I would really recommend going back and listening to it.
Sure.
But what it brings to mind is that I got a quarter of my DNA from Grandma June, and I didn't know her.
Mm-hmm.
I'm as much her
Yes.
as I am Pop Grant.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it strikes me how important these people can be to who you are. I mean, because there's a lot of nurture, but there's some nature in who you are too.
Yeah. And
I'm sure I got lots of really important things from Grandma June, and it's striking to me that I'm just as much Grandma June as I am Pop Grant, and just how, really genuinely important people can be to you, even if you don't know them.
Yeah.
Even if you didn't get the chance to know them.
Yeah. And even if there wasn't a direct nurturing,
mm-hmm.
I think it still happens through the stories of those people.
Certainly. And through somebody like Aunt Beth.
Yeah.
Because, you hear in that recording how important June was to Aunt Beth. And Aunt Beth was very important to me she's important to me, period. She continues to be important, but especially as a kid, she was very important to me.
Mm-hmm.
And there were things that I got from Aunt Beth. And, I do think, Aunt Beth was a little bit more outspoken.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I'm not saying that came from June, but
sure.
I got things from Aunt Beth that came through June.
Right.
And just, how really important somebody like that can be. And I think it's so valuable to me. It's the value that I get out of the podcast, or part of the value that I get out of the podcast is, I learned so much about June, and thank you to Beth and, Poppy for talking about her. But, I learned so many things that I didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boy, I think too that in hindsight, one of the lessons that I have come to understand from June and her life, which is unfortunate, but it's a reality, is how precious life is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when I was a kid, it was like, well, she was my grandma. She was an old lady, and she passed away before I really got to know her. You don't really think much about that.
Yeah.
I'll be 46 this month. She passed away in her mid-50s.
Yeah.
Right? It's, I wish I hadn't learned that lesson, or I wish that wasn't part of the lesson, but it is. It's,
right.
She was a wonderful person, and, she loved her family, and she absolutely would have loved to be there while us kids were growing up, and she didn't get that chance. And I think it's just that reminder to, live your life and to
be present, be grateful.
Yeah, exactly. And, and speaking of that, I really can't close out these episodes about Mother's Day without mentioning something. And I don't intend for, this to be too sad, but I called Frank Shutt today.
Yeah.
Frank Shutt is Catherine Shutt's mom.
Yep.
And I called Catherine. If you haven't listened to the episode, Catherine was a woman that all of us Ruhls grew up with. And she was very present in our lives, kind of as a surrogate grandmother.
Yeah.
Long after both of my grandmas were gone. And I called her every year on Mother's Day. And I started every conversation with her the same way. She'd answer the phone and I'd say, "Hey, lady, happy Mother's Day."
Mm-hmm.
And I was missing that yesterday, so I called Frank and chatted with him. But
That's nice.
hard for me to think of Mother's Day without thinking of Catherine. So
Yeah, and all of likewise, I think everybody thinks especially about their mother, whether they're here or gone. I was so fortunate to be able to spend the day with my mom.
yeah,
And as much time as I get to spend with her regularly. But all the aunts, all the family friends that become family
yep,
and are important support network there for you and picking you up and maybe knocking you down when you need to be. Just a little bit.
Nut was good at that.
No, mostly the picking you up and making you feel special and important.
I think that there is absolutely no doubt that we were blessed with great mothers.
Yeah.
And great, mostly grandmothers.
Yep.
And wonderful surrogates. And just we at Outdoor Rules, you, me personally, we're blessed to have wonderful mothers in our lives and not just the ones we're related to.
Absolutely.
And you know what?
What?
It rubbed off on you. You're a great mom.
Thanks.
So happy Mother's Day, Caitlin. Happy Mother's Day to everybody, to all the mothers out
Happy
there.
Mother's Day, Mom, Meemaw, all my aunts.
We love you all.
We love you all.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening to another episode of Outdoor Rules. As always, you can find all of the content on the website, www.outdoorrules.com. Look us up on Instagram at Outdoor Rules. And if you want to reach out about anything, send us an email, outdoorrules@gmail.com. Love you, Caitlin.
Love you too.
Hunting and fishing, the great outdoors. Mixing history, laughter, love, and folklore. Creating memories with family and friends. These are the trophies that matter in the end. Outdoor Rules.